Hi, my name is Ann Nash. I'm the Executive Director of ViaQuest Psychiatric and Behavioral Solutions. This training is our orientation for all new supervisors. This is the first of our training series for all new supervisors. So I want to welcome you. If you are new to ViaQuest and maybe were hired in as a supervisor, you've recently been promoted, or you've been supervisor with us for a while, I want to welcome you and thank you so much for joining us. The idea of this training series is that you will gain knowledge and skills to be able to help you feel comfortable to be able to provide quality supervision. Being a supervisor is a lot of responsibility. We have very high expectations here at ViaQuest, but it is very rewarding. I mean, we are changing lives every day. So this video, I'll be going through an orientation. And so the first thing I want you to do is in your packet, you should have a PBS orientation quiz. As I go through this, we're going to go through and I'm going to share some quiz reminders so you can fill out this quiz. At the end of this training, you will have completed the quiz and you're going to turn it into your supervisor. So make sure you have that out, make sure you have a working pen and be ready to fill in the questions. The objective of this training is to review ViaQuest leadership expectations, or introduction to leadership training series, and review the new supervisor verification checklist. Here is that verification checklist. This should look hopefully familiar. All new hires now have to go through this verification checklist. We have modified it, so now we have a verification checklist just for supervisors. And so what you'll do is that within the first 30 days, you're going to go through, meet all the requirements, and this will get turned into your supervisor and the human resource department. So the first part of this form has the HR requirements. You're going to have an updated job description that you'll review, sign off with your supervisor and HR. You're going to go through performance management, learning how to do evaluations on staff, time away from work. So you're going to learn how to be able to submit and approve for when your employee takes off work. And that's going to be done by your HR supervisor, manager. And then you're going to go through interviewing and hiring training from the HR recruiter. And then lastly, we ask that you verify any compliance training that's needed within the next 6 months. And you're going to find that through My ViaQuest. So the bottom part of that form is what we're going to be going through today. And as we go through our supervisor training, so you can fill out the rest of this new supervisor verification checklist. So as we're going through today, we're going to talk a lot about leadership expectations. This is one of the handouts that you should have. It's a front and back form typically. These leadership expectations are for all of ViaQuest, not just PBS, and they were developed by our president and CEO, Rich Johnson. And so I want to go through them. There's a lot of questions on our quiz that talks about these leadership expectations. And so again, follow along either on the paper or on the slides, and you can look back on these expectations at a later date. So know your people and your business. You're going to roll up your sleeves. So know your people and your business inside and out. So ViaQuest leaders are expected to get out from behind the desk, roll up your sleeves, and being able to know who your people are, your team members, who you're serving. Knowing your business means understanding, analyzing, and improving metrics that will drive results. And this is while you're foolproof processes that allow your operation to run efficiently without compromise. So you're going to hear a lot about outcomes because we want to do things for a purpose. We want to work towards being able to make changes and helping our clients make changes and being able to have measurable ways that changes are being recorded. Healthcare is a relationship business. There's that first quiz reminder, so make sure you're filling that out right now in your quiz. Relationships with employees, the people we serve, their families, referral sources, payers, government agencies, and ViaQuest partners who help us achieve our mission. Understanding the dynamics of these relationships and anticipating how your decisions will affect them is a major aspect of knowing your people and your business. Help your team be successful by understanding their professional and personal goals, helping them achieve their goals, And then you're going to know what motivates them. And then understand what communication style your team member responds to best. Again, another quiz reminder. It's really important to be able to help have an understanding of your team member and for them to understand you by getting to know them a little better. And this is an area that if you want some additional support, being able to help figure out their communication style, how to better relate, especially if you're a first-time manager, there's additional courses through our Relias Learning Program. I took these. I highly recommend Fundamentals of Management versus Leadership, Facing Challenges as a First-Time Manager, Leadership Fundamentals, Relationship-Centric Leadership, and there are many more available on the Relias program. So again, I highly recommend them. They also, as well as just type in the word communication, you'll find additional trainings too. Also recommend that you use action plans, learning management, leadership styles. There are additional resources that should be attached to this information that we're going through. And then I also love the Myers-Briggs. It's a great way to help you learn your personality styles of yourself as well as your team members. It really helps to get to have an understanding of maybe how somebody interprets information. Big examples are introverts versus extroverts. You know, extroverts likes to be outgoing, likes to be around people, when introvert kind of likes being by themselves. So if one is forced to be the other, you might have a hard time communicating with each other. And so the Myers-Briggs can help you to understand a little bit more about your team members. And we've included that as a way for you to take them yourself as well as your team members, and then also some interpretive information to help you to apply that to be able to improve your communication with your team. So you're going to get to know your people personally, take an interest in their lives. One of our training that's coming up, part of the supervisor training series, is interviewing training course. And all the materials will highlight ways to help you build your team with the right people. The next one is set clear goals and priorities. So goals and priorities should be clearly communicated. There should be in writing. They should be consistent with ViaQuest goals. Again, communicated clearly. They should be reviewed at least monthly. They are something for each and every team member is held accountable. And again, that's why it needs to be clearly communicated. In order for you to hold someone accountable, you have to make sure they have a good understanding of what their expectations are. You know, don't just take your word for it either. You're going to inspect what you expect. Again, that's a quiz reminder. Inspect what you expect. And right above that is your supervisor contract and individual development plan is going to outline these individual goals. And so you'll be going through that too as part of the supervisor verification and training checklist. So again, don't just take your team's word for it. Inspect what you expect. Performance reviews should be completed at least once annually and should set goals for ensuring the ensuing the year, as well as review the prior year's goals too. And you're going to learn about how to do this performance evaluations in those training I talked about before, the performance management training through HR. I also, the first couple times you do an evaluation, highly recommend that you talk to your supervisor, get some tips, have them help you, and they're going to sign off as well as your direct supervisor prior to you giving your performance evaluation to your team members. Performance coaching as well has to be done sometimes and the HR can help you with that if there ever becomes any performance issues. And this where I was talking about, helping with those evaluations. That's something that we have lots of resources to help you. Really feel strongly about helping every team member develop their own individualized goals, helping and make sure that supervisors can come alongside to help them to be able to develop objectives to reach those goals. And then we have our measurements for our standards. Like these leadership expectations are a great one to use as you're doing your evaluations of what's expected of you and your team members. Medical necessity and quality assurance training as part of our supervisor series is also a great training that's going to outline the ViaQuest goals and our accountability. Follow through is our next leadership expectation. Your word is your bond. Execute. Do what you say you're going to do and do it in a timely manner. Again, a quiz reminder. Do what you say you're going to do and do it in a timely manner. Our supervisor reminders, expectations that are part of our supervisor training series will review importance of follow through. And we'll also review certify, which is where we record our mileage, Paycor, PTO, Rely, as I mentioned, that training series to be able to help get additional skills and experience, are systems that need timely follow through. And so this training video that you'll watch at a later date will go through your responsibility as a supervisor. When the deadlines are for you to approve, how do you make sure that's done accurately? So we'll talk about that in the next couple trainings. The next leadership expectation is reward the doers. Use excellence as a choice. Your team deserves recognition, and the recognition program doesn't work without leadership buy-in. Again, a quiz reminder, use excellence is a choice. And how you get there and nominating people for Employee of the Month is you go to My ViaQuest, which is on the right-hand or left-hand side of the screen. At the bottom right, you're going to select excellence as a choice. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to click that excellence as a choice to nominate someone for Employee of the Month. As a leader within PBS, it's expected that you're going to nominate people on a regular basis. I would highly recommend that you put this on your calendar. I have it on the calendar for every Monday at 8 a.m. So that way it reminds me to nominate somebody. As a leader, we're asking that you nominate at least 2 people a month, people within your own team, other teams within PBS, and even other teams outside of PBS, just within ViaQuest. It's a great program. There's so many wonderful people within ViaQuest doing outstanding work. And so we just need to take the time to actually submit the excellence of choice to be able to reward those doers. Make it known too why people are rewarded or recognized. They're doing what they do that others will not do. And so it's only natural to get along with people who fit your personality. The best leaders separate their personal feelings and reward the doers who operate within our value system at all times. Insist on realism. Stick to the facts. Don't kid yourself into believing that you're doing a better or worse job than you really are. Stick to the facts that bring out the truth. Don't let other members fool you to believing they're doing their job. Inspect what you expect. And that should be familiar. We just talked about that before. Inspect what you expect. Don't blame, complain, or defend. Insist on realism. Again, a quiz reminder. Don't blame, complain, or defend. Insist on realism. Numbers don't lie. If you don't agree with the numbers on a report, like our productivity report, because they don't look good, you need to accept the true results. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't deny, don't hide, or sweep under the rug. Own your mistakes quickly, learn from them, and move on. Again, everyone makes mistakes. Don't hide, deny, or sweep them under the rug. Our productivity and weekly reports, trainings, and smart care for supervisors that we have in our upcoming supervisor series will aid you in running your reports and using the information to improve your team's numbers. All right, our next one is over communicate everything and then communicate some more. Trying to skip ahead, here we go. Communication is the #1 key to great leadership. Yes, there's a quiz reminder. Communication is the #1 key to great leadership. You need to communicate clearly, concisely, honestly, and frequently. Everyone is responsible to return phone calls and emails within 24 hours, 24 business hours, and then they should also hold their team accountable to do the same. This is a reminder, Everyone is responsible to return phone calls and emails within 24 hours and should hold their team accountable to do the same. Emails and phone calls from people we serve, families, guardians, and referral sources are high priority and should be returned as soon as possible. Life is busy. Make sure you're prioritizing your work and commitments and communicating with your team to get things done. And so what I would highly recommend that you do is schedule time to return phone calls and emails. I would say for supervisors, twice a day is appropriate. So maybe you're going to pick from 12:30 to 1 or 4:30 to 5, just to make sure that things don't get so overwhelming behind that you're able to keep up with that 24-hour turnaround. The more people you supervise, you're going to get more emails. So you want to set yourself up for success from the beginning and schedule those times to return those emails. Communication should be delivered in a way that's with customer service, satisfaction guidelines, and should always be courteous and respectful. Hopefully that's self-explanatory, but if you're ever unsure, I would definitely run your email by your supervisor. Maybe have them read it to see if it's the tone that you're wanting to that you're hoping to deliver to somebody, because we want to make sure that, again, that things are courteous, respectful. Maybe if you're going to return a phone call to somebody and you're not sure, practice that phone call with somebody. Take some deep breaths, calm yourself down before you return that call. All forms of communication should be utilized, and no one form of communication should be used as a default. And when possible, choose face-to-face communication. And I know more and more face-to-face, if we do it through Zoom, things like that. But when any way you're communicating, making sure that you're being clear and concise, and that you are open to feedback and open to developing rapport and being respectful to other people. Policies for supervisors will outline the importance of understanding and communicating policies. And one of those policies, obviously, is talking about communication, but it really helps for everyone to have an idea of what their expectation is, to be able to communicate that, but also be able to practice what those policies are and put them into place. Our last expectation for leadership is ownership. Ownership. We are one team. Take ownership in everything that you do. Be on time. Respect the time of others. Yes, this is a quiz reminder. Your responsibility is not to one person, but to the company. And that also is a quiz reminder. You're responsible for how you react to challenging situations. Choose a reaction that creates the positive outcome. ViaQuest has a lot of great resources: HR, accounting, QA. They're not auxiliary functions, but stewards to the company. So take ownership by following the process of them implementing. So I highly recommend that you start early in your now being a supervisor, and that you maybe set up meetings and have regular meetings with your HR manager. Develop that relationship. That they're going to be a great resource for you, especially in the issues of if you have issues with performance with employees later on. Also, make sure you have a great relationship with your employment coordinator. They're going to help you with recruitment and able to help you as far as you have openings, to be able to make sure that they are helping you recruit the highest quality candidate. Again, start with those relationships early, building those in each one of your regions. Do it the ViaQuest way, and in the end, the people we serve will benefit. Again, that's a quiz reminder. And then I hope that your responsibility not to one single person, but to the company. That quiz reminder as well. The ethics and regulations part of our supervisor training will review part of what makes it the ViaQuest way. The other part of ownership, we are one team. We have some trainings that you'll be taking. Basics for providing supervision will include ethics for supervisors. Supervisor shadowing will allow you to work alongside an existing supervisor. And supervisor binder will outline what documents you need to be in the supervision file for each of your team members. So now you're going to go through, fill out the training acknowledgement form that you've completed this training, that you're going to follow the expectations. You agree to finish all the leadership series and complete all the supervisor requirements on the new supervisor verification checklist. Submit all your questions to your direct supervisor. Again, don't hesitate to reach out to me as well. And then also turn in the following to your direct supervisor. You got the quiz, and then so you have the quiz that you're going to have. You're going to follow the new supervisor sign up, the supervisor verification form, and then you're going to have complete a supervisor post test. And so I'll talk about that in just a little bit here. All right, I want to go through now our what you can expect the rest of your supervisor trainings. So we just went through the supervisor orientation, including your leadership expectations. Again, you're going to finish that quiz and sign off. You're going to complete your supervisor contract and individual development plan. Your direct supervisor has this, and so you're going to work together to develop this plan, sign the contract, making sure that you are scheduling frequent supervision with your direct supervisor, and you'll do the same with the people you supervise. You're going to review the supervisor reminders and expectations. And so this is going to be something you're going to review and sign off. And then medical necessity, you're actually going to re-watch the medical necessity training that all new hires go through. And so I thought that was really important because now you're going to be a gatekeeper and making sure that people are actually providing services that are medically necessary. So as you watch this, making sure you're putting on the hat of a supervisor and what you're going to do to ensure that you are keeping your staff on the right path and accountable to providing medical necessity services. After you watch that again, you're going to complete the quiz and sign off. You're going to watch the training video on certified Paycor Reliance as a supervisor, and you're going to complete that sign off as well. You're going to complete the productivity and weekly reports video. You're going to watch that, and you're going to do the quiz and sign off. The quality assurance responsibilities about audits and making sure you know how the timeliness of that for your team and that they're doing their audits correctly. That's going to be a training that you'll complete. You'll review the Smart Care for Supervisors folder. Has a ton of tips and helpful hints about how to help use Smart Care as a supervisor. You're going to have a sign off for that. You're going to watch a great video about basics providing supervision. It's going to help you with a lot of tips about being a supervisor, about ethics when you're providing supervision. And after you do that, you'll complete a quiz and have a sign off. You're going to do some supervisor shadowing experience, like I mentioned before. You're going to review the supervision binder training to make sure that you have that together. And that binder, remember, is all supervisors will have this. So when you're getting new staff oriented and onboarded as a part of PBS, you'll know exactly how to provide the best onboarding experience. You're going to review supervision files for each staff. So you're going to make sure everybody's files are set up correctly. And so this will talk about that step by step, how to do that. You're going to review policies, specifically that ones that are important for supervisors. It's important that you know the most common policies that you're going to need to memorize and start to get to know and know where to go for more information on policies. So there will be that training, and there'll be a quiz and sign off. You're going to watch the mental health interviewing training, helping you with asking questions and doing interviewing, hiring, and there'll be a sign off for that. And then at the very end, you're going to complete a supervisor post test. So yes, you're going to have a test at the end, puts it all together. And so the idea of this is that hopefully after these supervisor trainings, you feel that you have a great wealth of information, have the knowledge, have some skills to be able to provide quality supervision. But these are some of the common things that get brought up in supervision. So there'll be a test that you'll take. And if you don't get it right, that's where you talk to your supervisor, and they provide you more training and experience to be able to answer those correctly. So once you're able to do that and get them all answered correctly, then you're going to complete all this together. You're going to turn this whole thing back into your supervisor. And the other thing you're going to do at the very end is you'll provide some feedback. We're just creating this supervisor training for you. We want to make sure that it's useful, that you're going to take away from this, that you feel like it was worth your time, that you felt like it helped you provide good quality supervision to your team. And we loved ideas as far as like even for additional trainings in the future. Thanks again for all the time that you took to watch this today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the trainings.